So the rule is usually like 30 gold or less. I'm fine with staying. Other than that, I'm gonna cry if I have to stay in base here. You have a range support and you're strong. Those are the two biggest reasons why I want you to just immediately run to lane. Other than if you like had, let's say, I think the maximum gold you should ever wait for, especially early game, is 30 gold. And the reason why is because, think about it, right? If you're spending 15 seconds in base, that is half an entire wave that you could be spending fighting the Kai'Sa that's already losing. I'm Daption, an ex-pro player for Cincinnati Fear, rank 2 on support, rank 14 on ADC on the NA ladder, and a CLOL champion. After years of competing at the top of North America, I've helped a ton of students finally hit their dream ranks by showing them what actually wins games. If you're serious about climbing this season, book a session and I'll help you see the game the way a challenger does. Stop guessing, start improving. For real. The standard play is you bring everybody bot and then you check these bushes, this one, and then you ward one of them and you stand in there. So what didn't happen was, first of all, your entire team isn't here. So Set from the start of the game did not decide to come with you. So if the enemy wants to, they can send 5 here and you might all die. Okay, so just warning you about that. If you want to go for this ward, make sure everyone's coming, because if everyone's not coming and they loop around like they did, I don't know if somebody stream sniped you or what's going on, but like, yeah, they kind of got your ass. So you're double range into one rage, one melee. So warding this bush isn't really that important, because you can, so as the minions are coming, you don't need to like be scared of the Nautilus being in this bush, because you both can hit the minions from this side. So the bush prio doesn't even matter, because Morgana doesn't have to be scared of face checking the Nautilus, because she can just stand on this side of the wave. And if she really wants to contest, she can walk up, get hooked, and then they actually lose the trade, because all of your minions will be hitting the Nautilus whilst their minions will not. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yes.
So after the fact, you guys went through with the level 1 plan. I just want to stop it. Okay, so the second you see this Azir, you need to be in like urgency mode. Like some shit's about to go down. If you're Briar bases, you are super fucked. Like super hyper fucked. You're now 3v5 if they want to. Spam ping assistance. It might not, stop his base. But in the slim chance that this Briar stops her base because she sees the Azir and your pings, you actually can kind of win this, because they're going to be face checking into you. You don't have to face check into them. Okay.
Understood.
So now I'm like terrified. And then your Mel pings on the way. So if they're coming from behind you, right? What does that say to you if they're coming this way?
There's going to be a lot of people, I think.
Yes. Yes. And there's another thing. They're blocking up your blocking off your escape path. So you're going to have to either fight this out or you suicide and then let these two run away. So those are the two options you need to be thinking of in this split second. And the reason why is because you're now 3v a potential 5. So there's going to be a loss no matter what. And then you're brave. You're really brave, because you're pinging like in, and you're the one that's the most in danger, right? Because if this guy hooks into this bush, he obviously doesn't know you're there. But let's say he walks up towards this bush and then you're still in this bush and you're like on the way out, you're going to insta die and this entire fight is over. So I really want to like make sure that you're thinking about this. If an ADC in a level 1 dies, you will instantly lose the level 1 unless you have like, let's say, DPS somewhere else in your comp. So in this team comp right now, if you die, who else has DPS on your team?
I'd say Mel can have decent DPS, and then technically Briar if she gets ahead, but it's still not great. I would say, me getting behind is not great. Yeah.
So the Mel is more like bursty because she's like a spellcaster. This is also a spellcaster kind of, because everybody can just run away from Set. The champ's kind of duggy. And then Briar is the one you want to be kind of playing with. And then the second you see this, I want you to just run to the alcove. The second you see the Azir, sorry, I want you to run to the alcove because you had a few seconds where the Nautilus would not have seen you. And if you ran to the alcove and let's say they ran into your Mel and your Morgana, that's the best case scenario because they won't be hitting you.
Understood.
So no matter what, I don't want you to be getting engaged on first. So you need to have that mentality for yourself. And then, okay, so you autoed 3 times and Jinx's minigun stacks up until 3, right? In terms of attack speed. So the second you get this tick on your screen of 3 minigun autos, okay, so it's like auto on minigun. Then you swap immediately to rockets until your little like AD steroid runs out. Or sorry, attack speed steroid runs out. And then you can swap back to minigun. But you want to have as much uptime as possible on your minigun attack speed. Otherwise, you're just like foregoing the only ability you have at level 1, right?
Understood.
So yeah, right here, I want you to swap to rockets because on top of dealing more damage, it also splashes. So you would be hitting both of these guys at the same time. And then potentially the Malphite if he walks in, so on and so forth. So don't be scared of using your rockets here. And then it would be something. Okay. Other than that, remember what I said about if you get engaged on, this is over. So what do you think your priority should be as you're hitting this Nautilus? So he's snared. Okay. Your teammates made the mistake of layering their CC on top of each other instead of chaining it. So just look at this, Morgana, and then E. Well, okay, it was like kind of chain. I'm not gonna lie. But right now, these 2 are caster minions. You need to get behind this rock. So whoever's the engaged champion on the enemy team, you stand opposite side of them or you stand behind your teammates. No matter what, you are never getting hooked here. Or this Nautilus has to flash over this wall to get to you.
Yes.
So after the fact, you get hooked. I don't want you to barrier. And I don't want you to pot for 2 reasons, okay? In this scenario, are you killing this Nautilus no matter what?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to get an advantage. Are you going to live no matter what?
I'm not going to live no
exactly.
matter what.
So you don't need to use any of these sums because you're going to get a kill and you're going to die for sure. So using anything extra would just be overcompensating. So
got it.
I get that like you would want to use the barrier for a chance of you like surviving a little longer than maybe the fight is good. But logically speaking, if you get hooked in the level 1, you're going to die. Okay.
Got it.
I think I said that like a million times, but hopefully it's not getting too annoying. And then you immediately run away.
It's just tough. This is tough. Why did I flash, man?
Yeah. I mean, no, I get it. You wanted to like make as much space as possible, but like, yeah, you losing your flash is like pretty important, especially since you're in a range versus melee matchup. So every time you don't have flash for the next 5 minutes, because I think you went Gathering Storm.
Yes.
For the next 5 minutes, you can't play the game unless you trust your Morgana to Black Shield for you. And what I mean by you can't play the game is like if you walk, let's say, let me give you a better picture. If you walk past this line in the lane and Nautilus has flash and you don't trust your Morgana to Black Shield and Nautilus flash auto, you're just going to die to a jungle gank instantly. Right. So after the fact, you asked me what is the best buy. So I want you to tell me what you think is the best buy and why. Best buy.
So like I hesitated here because if I had 50 more gold, which would never happen, but I would get longsword. But the thing is, I don't, and so the only thing I can realistically buy is like just the boots. It looks like to me, like right away, just 300 gold. So I think boots just make sense because that's the only option. But on top of that, like it just gives me a little bit more move speed because the minions are already by like the tier 2 tower. So I need to like when I get back up in 3 seconds, I need to like run. So I hopefully don't miss any CS. So yeah, I think boots is just the only option that I had, which is what I went with. But I was just curious if there was alternatives or anything else you wanted me to consider in this kind of purchase.
Well, okay. The reason why I'm like bringing this up is because you end up with the right decision. It's just I feel like there was a world where maybe if you weren't too, you were a little bit unsure, might have ended up going like refill pot and a pink word. So I never want you to do, because like that's what your cursor coming here is telling me.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you're like
Yep.
considering it. Never consider it. Whatever is the maximum value of your like the gold that you based with, I want you to get the maximum value like in terms of the items, components, or full items that you're gonna buy. So let's say you got 400 gold. In that scenario, you could go like this and a pink word, or you could just go a longsword and a pot if you want. No matter what, I want you to think of a way to spend as much gold as possible to make this base as useful as possible. Okay.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question on that?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I watch like some like high elo players, I notice like they'll sometimes like buy like a single pot, like if they have 50 gold left, like sometimes.
Yeah.
I just generally, even if I have 50 left, in my head, it's like 50 on a pot doesn't seem as worth it as opposed to just saving it in my bank for the next buy. Could you explain the logic behind like when I should spend the 50 to get that pot versus when I shouldn't?
It's mostly like, okay, whenever you're buying an item, you have to see the usefulness in the future, right? So whenever I see a pro player buy like a 50 HP pot, and there are times where they literally will have enough for a refill pot, but they'll go for just the singular pot. And the reason why is because they know how the lane is supposed to go, like to such detail that like having the extra 100, I think it's 150, or is it 125? Am I trolling? I don't know. The extra HP that you get from the pot is actually going to be useful in how they're going to fight the lane. So, for example, in this lane, do you think you need the pot? If you,
I don't think so.
Okay, why?
I think because Kai'Sa Nautilus is like such a bursty, like they're bursting like damage onto me that like I feel like if I take a bad trade, like it's gonna be just really bad. Like, and I don't think that small HP might really help unless it's a refillable, which gives me 2 charges as 200 HP. You know, so I don't know. I'm thinking to myself, it's maybe not that good.
So,
or maybe it is good.
It's
for that
no. I'm hesitating because I want to explain this right. So it's not good, not because. So okay, if you have the extra 50 gold to buy for a pot, and you know that the enemy is really bursty, I wouldn't really forego buying the pot because they're really bursty, because that could be the difference between you living and dying. But
okay,
the reason why it's so important for you to get this pot in, let's say, if they have Kai'Sa Nico, okay, you need to get like that extra pot, because in that lane, you are going to be getting poked, so your HP bar matters even more. If they have access to your health bar, getting the extra pot, if you don't want to buy the refill, is actually useful. So on that timer, let's say at level 4, if, I don't know, like Pays sees that he's playing this matchup and he's versus a Nico, he will sometimes just buy this extra, what's it called? Potion. Does that make sense?
Got it. Understood. Yes. Thank you.
I know it's not really like, I didn't really give you like a constructive way of using that, because I prefaced it by saying like they know the lane to a T, so maybe you're not too sure. But the easiest way is like if you think you're trading in small trades, this extra pot can be useful. Okay.
Awesome. Got it. Yes. Thank you.
No problem. And then I think I was about to say something else. I completely forgot. Hold on. Let me check my notes real quick. Yeah, I wrote in all caps sometimes because I got mad, but don't mind that. Okay. So I'm going to just skip forward to the next point just to make sure we're covering everything, and then we can come back to any point that you wanted to go over.
Sure.
After. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. You had a question under this point. I'm going to get to that after, but in this scenario, right? If you were telling me like, I want to get the 1300 gold base, what is the alternative? What are you giving up by staying in base here? What do you think is the answer to that question?
I'm giving up like being able to like, get the CS, or like if they hard push, I might lose CS and experience, and then I might be like more behind than the enemy AD carry. And then also depending on like if I get there faster, then I can like match like what they're doing with the wave and try to like control it to the way I want to play the lane. But if I just
Yes.
sit here and they get to do whatever, then now I'm just like, I don't have a hand, like I don't have any cards in my hand because it's like, well, I just have to deal with what they do to me.
Yeah.
That situation.
Exactly. So the last point was what I was looking for. So in this lane, you want as much uptime as possible. And the reason why is because you're winning so incredibly hard and you have a support that's not going to roam. So think about it, right? If you're winning 2v2, okay, let me remove this. If you're winning 2v2 and you have a range support, so range supports usually want more gold or gold and EXP, okay? So they want to stay in lane for as long as possible, whereas melee supports are fine with leaving because they don't need to get that EXP since their kit is so like front loaded. Like, so the rule is usually like 30 gold or less. I'm fine with staying. Other than that, I'm gonna cry if I have to stay in base here. You have a range support and you're strong. Those are the two biggest reasons why I want you to just immediately run to lane. Other than if you like had, let's say, I think the maximum gold you should ever wait for, especially early game, is 30 gold. And the reason why is because, think about it, right? If you're spending 15 seconds in base, that is half an entire wave that you could be spending fighting the Kaisa that's already losing. And then other than that, yeah, you would just buy a Hearthbound Axe and just build towards Kraken. Like, Kraken is not even bad on like most ADCs. It's just like, it's really hard for you to get the 1300 gold base. Okay?
Got it. Yes.
I actually had another point on that, but it's not really useful. It's just, while you're CSing here, because I was watching you CS, because I was like, okay, you guys are super ahead, and then you guys get these kills. You have to make sure, once you get this kill, that you hit every CS, right? Because you're now 2v0. So no matter what, you need to be thinking, first of all, what is the first CS that I'm going to CS? So which one do you think you're going to be CSing first?
I don't know if I end up doing this, but I think I hit like the casters first. But I don't know if I end up doing that. If I end up just hitting the cannon, I wasn't sure.
So I just want you to be looking at whatever drops HP. Like in the next second, if you see this drop to like this much HP, you're CSing this minion next. Okay. If the minions focus onto this minion, you're CSing this. So whatever minion your CS or whatever minion your minions are hitting, I want you to CS that, because you'll just kill the target faster and then move on to the next. Whereas if you don't do that, let's say your minions are hitting this and then you're hitting this, you're splitting your like the amount of time you're hitting these minions into two. Does that make sense?
Understood.
Yeah.
Yes. Got
and
it.
then it also makes attack timers really hard, because there might be a timer where you both drop these minions to like this much HP, and then you have to choose between the cannon or the caster, which is obvious, but you wouldn't have to do that if you looked at the minions to begin with. Okay.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah, and the point why I said that was because if you got every single CS here, you would get your BF sword base. So right here, you no. Okay, so everything was perfect up until there. You're hitting this minion, kill this melee minion. Okay. I know what happened in your brain because you saw this on your screen and you're like, okay, I don't want her to take my minions, or I want to make sure I'm CSing these. But all of these minions are aggroed onto the melees. So you don't have to worry about these for a solid like 5 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can even like rocket these minions if you want, just to push the wave faster. It just might make it so that you miss one of these melees since they'll all drop HP. Anyways, you're really, really okay. What do you want to do right now, since we didn't like set up the wave perfectly? What is the way you want to CS this? Mm-hmm.
So looking at this, like I think I like switched to rocket to try to hit the casters, and then I saw that the melee was getting focused, and then I'm like, oh crap, I think I might lose this one if I don't. So then I like switched back to the minigun. I mean, I guess maybe I could have just waited, used my W to get the melee, and then just stay in rocket and just hit one shot the casters, maybe.
Yeah, you could do that. It's just so it is good to use your abilities, by the way. I'm fine with you using your rockets and your W to make this wave push faster, because you have to get the fuck out of here. So that's good. It's just, I like the same rule I told you before. Like, these minions are hitting this one. sure, you can rocket this and then W this, but I want to make sure you get all of these casters and then this melee as well. So if this melee drops below like this much HP and you're in the process of rocketing these, I would rather you lose one of these casters and get this one, because this is 21 gold. This is 14 gold, I think.
Yes. Okay.
So always what the minions are hitting. And then I'm not going to lie, we're going to kind of grief through CS a little bit, but that's not the most important part of this. And then, okay, so you asked me another question, which was the 50% HP rule.
Yes.
It's kind of hard for me to give you I can't give you like a 100% answer for every single situation. It's not like universal. So I'd have to see the situation. Do you know of a timestamp in this game where you were like below 50% HP and then like also maybe the mana was 50%? Because I need to see the situation before giving you an answer. The 50% is mostly if you both are, let's say you're below 50% HP and the enemy is below 50% HP in the first like 3 waves, then you have to get the fuck out because HP matters a lot more in the early game. Now, this is not like that's not to say that the 50% rule doesn't matter later on. It's just more impactful in the first 3 waves. Okay.
Yes, got it. I don't have a timestamp currently. I think it was just trying to better understand like the sort of. I just have never thought of like the laning in that way. I always think of HP, obviously, right? Like if I'm low, then I can't walk up for CS. But I never thought about mana being part of that equation. So I just wanted to get like a bit of insight onto like how to like assess that. Like there are sometimes I think situations where maybe I like whiff some abilities or like use it incorrectly, and then I'm like 25% HP, but I'm like otherwise healthy, and like in those situations, like my instinct is just to stay and just keep laning. And I just wanted to better understand like, and there was like another video with another Jinx player that you had mentioned this kind of idea of like if you're below 50% mana or 50% HP, you need to look to base. And I just wanted to better understand it like in a general context.
So I'll explain it in a way that like I don't really know if this is going to be useful, but this is specific to a lot of the spellcaster ADCs, whereas like if you're like 25% mana on a champion like Aphelios, you don't have to worry as much. And so the reason why is because certain champions literally require you to have your abilities to be able to play the lane. And for example, Jinx, right? If you don't have enough mana for a rocket, do you think the lane is going to feel easy?
No, I think it's going to be pretty hard.
Yeah, because the amount of resources you have as an ADC drop to lower range, mind you, and then you have lower attack damage because rockets deal more damage, and you don't have wave clear because your rockets are your wave clear. So on Jinx, having enough mana to rocket like an entire wave is like a insurance buy. Whereas on a champion like, let's say, on a champion like Sivir, okay? If you have enough mana to just like W one time in the entire wave, and then you can bail yourself out by pushing that really fast, you're completely fine. So does that kind of answer your question? Yes. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, your mana bar is unironically your lifeline, and your HP bar tells you how aggressively you can move forward, and like hit these minions. Okay.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. And then, okay, we do skip a lot, but like I said, we can go back to it after. Okay, so first things first, whenever you're looking at, this is just a tip if you want to be reviewing your games yourself, I want you to always be looking at about like 1 minute to 1 to 2 minutes in advance of the play, because the mistake usually happens in that timer. So what I mean by that, I'll explain it. So right now, you just made a play and you died, not to worry, and it's 1 minute before the objective. So usually around now, people in higher elos are starting to reset so that they're back on the map with fresh conditions and, let's say, spending the gold that they had in their pockets, so that, let's say they base now, and then in 30 seconds they make it to the bot wave. For example, the Mel does that. And then she'll be able to push out her wave and then move to the objective in the 1 minute before the objective. Okay? So that's why you have to look at what is preceding. There's a lot of other reasons, but that's like the main one. And everything in this game relies on waves to be played through. And then, okay, so right here, there's 30 seconds before the objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at this. You died first, and your team needs to reset, right?
Yes.
So what do you think I want you to do?
Well, since my team needs to reset, it means like our tempos are like kind of off, right? So I'm gonna be the only one on the map while my rest of my team is basing. So I feel like my instinct is just to go mid, but then like the mid lane's kind of already like that wave is already like super pushed. So maybe I should go bottom and clear that wave and do what the Mel is supposed to do in that timer.
So I'm gonna give you a hint. Like, it's not even related to, like, you don't have to go anywhere right now. I want you to tell your team what you want them to do. So I saw I saw in a later clip that we'll talk about it, but you spam pinged on a wave on the mid wave when it was like the waves were about to meet. That's too late. You can't be doing that, because by the time that the waves already meet, like, if your support and your jungle are on the bot side of the map, do you think they can make it?
No.
So you have to do it in advance, at least 30 seconds in advance. And this is your timer. So what I want you to do is spam ping careful on both of these. Okay. And then they'll take their bases. And then on the next wave out of base, you can contest the mid wave and then move into Drake. If that does not happen and somebody bases anytime soon with no TP, right?
Yep.
You will be down numbers at this Drake fight.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
So after that, that was just the setup to the fight. Also, make sure so right here, you cancel the Malphite's base. And it's 18 seconds before the objective. So why did you want to cancel this Malphite's base 18 seconds before?
Honestly, I'm gonna be completely real with you. I think it wasn't like super well thought out in terms of like calculating like how long he would come back to base, and then like there was just like I just like knew he was low. I knew that he probably like I saw him walking to the brush, and I just know that he was basing, and just in my head it's like, oh, if I cancel the base, it's like probably kind of good, and that's all I was thinking in that moment.
That's fair. I think just a couple of things. Whenever you do this and you rocket somebody to prevent them from basing, you need to make sure that they can't make it to the objective or whatever lane they're going towards on time, because otherwise 20 seconds later, right, you're on the objective and you no longer have your ult.
Yeah.
And the Malphite's there at the objective anyways. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't know whether or not he used TP. And if you're not sure, you can literally ask, does Malphite have TP? Usually the standard is, yes, he has TP, unless you saw it. Okay. So right here, I would not want you to rocket the Malphite, even though like it does stall him. It does stall him by a solid like 10 seconds, because he like stood there like a dumbass, and then he has to wait 8 seconds to recall, blah, 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 blah. So this is fine. It just could be optimized. And then now on this next mid wave, okay, there's something horribly wrong with what just happened. Okay. So you're walking up, but you don't see anybody but the Malphite, and you saw the Kha'Zix on this side of the lane like 2 seconds ago. Okay. So if that's the case, and you know where they are, okay, you don't know where they are, but you know that they should be around this area. Do you think you should be walking forward in this lane by yourself?
Definitely not. Definitely.
Yeah, you have no sum. So you either have two choices. You either go towards your team and then, you walk towards this bush and then wait for the wave to come and then clear it, or you're spam pinging your entire team to come here. Because what I'm seeing is you ulted, okay, and then you're walking up here. Do you know whether or not this Nautilus has flash?
I don't remember if he has flash or not, and I don't know if I knew that in that moment in this game.
Okay, so Yeah, that's kind of like a hard question for you to answer, actually. But the main point here is you're dead if this guy has flash before the
Yes,
objective.
for sure.
So
For
make sure at the objective or whatever wave you're going on, you have people either around you that can respond to you being engaged on when they're going to be there, or you just wait for your team to come and you ping them to come.
100%.
Okay.
Got it.
So beyond that, they get the wave and then you guys clear the objective or the Rift Herald and then you move in. Everything's fine and dandy. Okay. Now it's time for me to explain to you how objective works, okay? Whenever you're pulling an objective, you have two choices. You're either hitting the objective to kill the objective and like get it, or you're playing the objective to turn. And
okay,
the deciding factor between these two is jungler alive or is jungler... Oh wait, it's the other way around, sorry. This one is their jungler's dead. And the other one,
enemy jungler, right?
Yeah,
enemy jungler.
Yes,
dead?
yes. Okay. This is the main factor because Jesus Christ. So if the enemy jungler is alive and they can make it into the pit whilst you're hitting it, you'll have spent a solid like 15 to 20 seconds hitting the objective, and the enemy can just go in, steal the objective, and not have spent the time hitting the Drake. So you see how this is like you have to make sure the jungler is not stealing type of situation, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is your jungler definitely matters a lot as well. So if your jungler has smite, if your jungler's dead and their jungler's dead, then it falls to whoever, whether or not you can zone them from walking in. So let's say your Mel is standing here over the wall, they have no vision, and then the second that they walk up, your Mel is going to E them, and then you can turn from the Drake onto them, kill them, and then go back to the Drake. Okay? So make sure you're deciding, am I killing the Drake or am I turning for this, turning to fight? And then from here, you don't see the Kha'Zix. Do you know if they have a ward on the Drake?
We don't. I don't know, and I think my team also doesn't know because we didn't scan or we don't have like a vision ward, so we don't know if they have.
So this could go horribly wrong. I just want to warn you because this Kha'Zix. Okay, I don't know if he bought the spell shield item. Because if he did, you would be in some deep shit. Because he could steal smite it. He has a better smite than the Briar, and then he could just invis and get out. So
got it.
I want you to be very careful with this type of thing. If you don't see the jungler, this is very, very concerning. And then you kill the objective and then you turn. So this is a little bit... See how this is like the inverse of what should have happened? Why do you think that's the case?
Because like you said, like in that like matrix that you drew, like if we're just hitting it and we don't know where the Kha'Zix is and he could like jump in and steal it, like when they're coming in, we want to like turn and like fight them and like win the fight and then try to identify the situation and then secure the objective, as opposed to like we just spent this whole time like killing it and then now we're like gonna turn on this situation. So I think it's like you said, it's just in a general perspective, it's like opposite of what should be happening.
Yes.
Right? Like you should confirm, try to kill the jungler, or maybe if Kha'Zix shows on like top wave for like some bizarre reason, we know we can take the objective. But since we didn't know that, we did this, and it's kind of like a coin flip that was like invisible, right? Like it's like it's coin flip in the sense that like that guy could have like made a play and try to kill the objective and then fight afterwards.
So like they just didn't walk up like at all. So you got the objective and now you get to turn. That's the only reason why this is like the inverse. And like you said, like it is a flip. But you know, flips sometimes work. Sometimes it's 50-50, you flip a coin, you get it. And then, okay. So right here, you have many threats that you have to deal with. Okay. So just list out the threats for me, because I want to know what's going on in your head.
So I have a Nautilus Q or Nautilus ult.
Yes.
I have a Malphite ult.
Yes.
In any of those CC into like a Kaisa, like ulting into a W to like burst me. I also know that Azir just is invisible. Like he just cleared bot side wave, so he's obviously walking here from like blue side. and then I don't know where the Kha'Zix is. I find out soon enough that he's going to come behind me. And so right now at this moment, I'm thinking Nautilus, Malphite, and in the back of my head, I'm like, Ozzy is like coming soon. That's the threats I have.
So that's really good. And then, so you just determined how they want to fight, by the way. So whenever you are looking to team fight, you need to know not only your win condition, you need to know all of these guys' win conditions. Because if you know that if the Nautilus gets an ult on you and Kai'Sa follows up, you're just going to instantly die, then you should space outside of the Nautilus ult range, and then you're preventing them from winning, right? So that's the case. So let's see what happens. I'm going to play it out. Okay. So this Nautilus instantly dies and Malphite ults in. Okay. And now you see the Kha'Zix on your screen. What do you think happened that was wrong on your part? Actually, I'll just give you the answer because honestly, it's really hard to see in like the midst of all of these animations. Okay. So how do you think a fight should go for you and your team? Like, how do you win a fight with all of your champions?
We win a fight by like my team kind of like frontlining and CCing a target, and then me just like free hitting like and just doing a bunch of damage, and then get my passive off, and then we just do the same thing like over and over again. I think we just keep like playing off of like my get excited passive and just doing a lot of damage to targets. Okay,
so that's good, but you're not specific enough. So when you're not specific enough, you'll run into situations where you're like, oh, like my team is making space for me, but I lost. So like what went wrong, right? And so the reason why I want you to be specific is because this game, you have the easiest way to get a CC chain, right? If your Morgana lands a Q and Mel E's on top of it, you have like a 4-second snare, okay? If that's the case, and that's how the fight usually is going to start, do you think you should drop your chompers on the Nautilus when he's already going to get CC chained?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I should not have used my chompers here because that's my only like quote unquote like defense option. Yes. And so to use it when I don't need to is like a waste.
Yeah.
And it's wrong to use that here.
Yeah. Just think about it, right? Like if your champion has literally nothing, like no, what's the word? Nothing like stopping them from just running at you, they're just going to do that, right? And so in a team fight where you don't need, so whenever I load into game, I'm thinking about like how a team fight should be played out. And that's just because I do it like without thinking because I've done it for so long. So in this situation, I'd be thinking to myself like, okay, the Briar just went onto the Nautilus with her ult. Honestly, nobody else needs to use a CC, by the way. Briar has right? CC. Yeah, Briar has. Well, I don't know if it fears outside, but her Q is a CC, point and click, right? So she landed her ult. So no matter what, this guy should get CC'd. And so after the fact, these two should hold their abilities, and then they should have their abilities to peel you, and Set should not ulti forward because this Nautilus is already dead. So you need to have your chompers. They need to have their CC spells to help you in this fight, because I'm going to play it out. If if Malphite has even 2 brain cells and sees this, right? So Morgana just used her Q, her E, and her W. Mel just used her Q and her E. Briar just used her entire like spell repertoire, and then the Set ulted in. What does Malphite have to do to win this fight?
Just ult me and then kill me with confidence.
That's it. You will instantly lose the fight. Because think about it. You're trading the Nautilus for the ADC. This is never a good trade. Okay? So your choices are hold my chompers, or you need to stand on the opposite side of the screen of where this Kha'Zix is going to be. In which case, you're not going to be able to do that because you're already in the river and you're fighting. So you need to hold these chompers. Just hold that as like a priority in your head. And then what should have happened was, so like this guy jumps on you. Mind you, he should have played it better because he should be ulting to get into range and then be on top of you. Whereas right now you see how he's like almost flash distance away. So he would get his auto QW off and you would only get like, say like this far away. And then he should be able to follow you with flash or E, and you should instantly die. If he doesn't do that, you would have your chompers and then just lay them down here walk this way, flash away, and then you will live. Okay.
Got it.
And then the next part of the fight. Okay. So right now, what is the status of the fight?
So we killed Nautilus, and then like Set is like boxing out the Kaisa, and then our two mages are like gonna get like smacked by Malphite and probably Kha'Zix, because now I'm out of range of Kha'Zix. And now I pretty much have like no condition to fight because I burned my flash. I don't have chompers. I'm less than half HP, so it's like it doesn't look good for my team because they need me to like do the damage, but I can't anymore.
Okay, so that's really good. I think a really easier way to think about this is if in a fight you've used two. Okay, the worst one is the automatic rule for me is if I used 3 Rs to kill one person. Okay, I'll just write it out. One person, you need to get the fuck out of this fight. Because just think about it, right? Every champion's most important ability usually is their ultimate. If you use 3 of the most important abilities, and let's say they use at best 1, right? Because you kill the Nautilus. Let's say only Nautilus ulted. They have 4 to 2 ultimates ready. And like, obviously this is not a fair trade. So right here, you guys use Set ulti and Briar ulti to kill this Nautilus. Right now, to begin with, like, I'm like, okay, we just over ulted for literally no reason. Okay. So my instinct is to get the fuck out, and my team has to get the fuck out. There is no continuation of the fight. So I'm spam pinging careful after I flash away. And so this whole like general sense of like how you're going to fight is going to happen when right now you're out of the fight and you're just like running away. Just glance at these ultimates real quick. Also, okay, well, I'll say this after, but you just glance at these ultimates and think about it. Also, you don't have an ultimate, so you can consider this as 3 Rs, right? And so 3 Rs, it means there you go. So
I have a quick question here. Is there like, instinctively I wanted to flash away. Looking back on this when I was writing these notes, like I thought like maybe I should have like just pathed like even if I had to flash up towards like Morgana and like Set and put myself in between like in the middle of my team and just keep fighting. Like, is that just objectively wrong, or like can you kind of like help me understand whether that's like a acceptable play or if that's just wrong? Instead of running away to the tower, just going up and just putting myself in the middle of the team.
So I'm going to start off by saying you should die here no matter what, even if you flash, because this Kha'Zix has E. But beyond that, so it's kind of hard for me to give you this answer because I know that you're not looking at your teammates' abilities. So the only reason why you would ever flash this way is if you know that these people are going to save you from the fight.
Okay.
Do you know whether or not they have their abilities?
No, I wasn't thinking about that at all in this moment.
So, okay, when you're team when you're team fighting, do you look at your character a majority of the time, or are you looking at the enemy?
I'm usually looking at the enemy until like I notice that like something's happening to me. So here, like I was completely looking like where my chompers and like the Briar is, and then when the Kha'Zix jumps on me, then my eyes immediately went on to my own character, and then I wasn't sure what was happening on the rest of the map. Yeah.
Okay. So
like I'm just looking at myself in the center of the screen right now and trying to like get away
out.
From this guy.
Okay. And so at this point, I'm gonna just give you the answer because it's kind of hard for you to like, for me to make you guess. Right now, this Morgana should have her Q and this Mel should have her E. And the reason why is because on this last timer where Briar ulted in, right? Look at Mel's abilities. QE.
Right.
And Morgana QW'd and her user E in about 2 seconds. Okay, Mel has E. Well, it's not 2 seconds. It's literally right now. So if you're thinking about that, then I'm completely fine with you flashing towards your team. If you do not know that, like what you did was completely right.
Okay, understood. Got it.
So I'm adding like a layer of difficulty to your team fighting, but okay. So there's usually 2 phases in a team fight. Let's get into this, okay? First is the phase where you are actually fighting, okay? So actually I'll put it on the opposite side because that's where the fighting happened, just so that it's visually pleasing to the eye. And I know my writing's very pleasing, so don't worry, I got you. Okay, so there's the fighting, and then there is the analysis of, I mean, you could use any other word, but that's what I use. So right now, whatever's going on in this side of the map is completely separate from what you're doing. And the reason why is you are completely out of the fight. This happens when you are dead. This happens when you drop to 1 HP. And this also happens when you are waiting for your next abilities to come out. So you have like a little bit of free time to think about what's going on. So right now, what you would be thinking about and analyzing is you just look straight at these ults and you're like, okay, my answer is, do I fight or do I get the fuck out? And the answer should be get the fuck out because of the R thing I just said. And you're just looking at the fight, right? Like, does this look like a good fight from what you're seeing?
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look very good.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, because the Kaisa just lived after you guys used all of your abilities on her and the Nautilus. And then there's a complete X factor that's coming into the fight that is like basically Thanos. His ultimate just stops anybody from getting on top of him. And if you guys can't get on top of their hyper carry, which is Azir, can you win the fight?
No.
Okay. So your analysis is going to feed into the fighting. So you're in the analysis phase. You have to make sure you're giving your teammates the information that you get from your perspective of the game. And your perspective is, this is terrible. Okay. And the fighting, I already explained, like the traps and looking at your teammates' abilities, just the CC, or to see like what abilities they have up at the time of the fight. Those are things that I'm looking for in the fight. And so just make sure right now, as you're walking away, you are pinging your team. Okay. Yeah. And you can ping to fight, you can ping to be careful, but I just want you to ping, and that needs to be a goal for you, because in pro play, one of the easiest things to like spot a good from a bad player is when a play happens, somebody dies, and that somebody who dies, regardless of what role they are, they're able to dictate every single thing in the fight by communicating what's going on.
Yes.
Okay. So UW here, I mean, honestly, like this is fine. This is fine. Just make sure that you're never in range to like, so right now, if you auto one more time, you're going to get queued by this guy. I don't really want you to do that. It's just like it would be lazy for you to stand here and take the Kha'Zix queue because you don't need to. Okay.
Yep.
So you wouldn't be like as low. But right now, okay, there was the first phase of the fighting that happened, and then you had analysis, and then there's also 2 phases to fighting when it gets later on in the game, because there are so many abilities and so much HP. Okay, so you have fighting, analysis, and now you have another fighting. Okay, do you want to fight now?
No.
Okay, good. Like we don't even need to go over why.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's like a majority of it. Let me just make sure I'm going through my notes correctly. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted you to think about is, so remember what I said about the Azir, right? He's like the X factor. If he's in the fight and he doesn't die instantly, like you guys are just gonna lose because he'll out DPS you guys. The only thing that will change this fight is whether or not this set has flash. And the reason why is because if he gets to walk up and flash E, which is extremely unlikely, he'll CC both of these people. And if he gets a CC off on the Kaisa, you can auto attack the Azir. They'll be on top of each other. You'll get your passive, and then you can carry the fight. Other than that, you see no angle for the fight to be good. You are spam pinging away. Okay. Okay. Because right now I saw you like do this back and forth stuff, like, and you're watching your team like just get exploded, right? This feels horrible, but you didn't do anything to prevent it. So like you're also kind of complicit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And mind you, like all of the stuff that I'm telling you should also apply to your teammates, but they just don't know it, you know?
Yeah.
So the higher you go, the more these people are going to be able to determine these things. Good R, really close. Okay, on to the next point. This one's kind of similar to the last point that we just talked about, which is objective fighting. You're going to be thinking about this almost every objective that comes out on the map. So right now, why did you guys pull the objective?
So I see like Azir top and our sets matching, and then Kai'Sa's also mid. So that means like the only people that can be here to like fight us is the Malphite, the Kha'Zix, and the Nautilus. Now, honestly, it's the same thing as a dragon thing. Like the Kha'Zix could just like literally just fly in and just smite the Otacon, and then they can just kill us afterwards. So I think like right now, I don't know what my teammates are thinking because I don't obviously. I certainly am not thinking at the level of like, oh, we're hitting this until we see Kha'Zix. Like we're hitting this to like force him to come, and if we want to fight or whatever. Like I'm not really thinking in that mode right now. To be completely honest, I'm kind of just like, hey, we're all here, and I'm the damage, so I'm hitting this big thing, and I'm getting it low as I can, and that's really all I'm thinking about, which is pretty not good. So. Okay,
so. What do you think you should be doing now? So I'm going to like try to evolve your thinking based off the information that I gave. So first of all, we've established that you're pulling this to pull a fight. You're pulling the Otacon so that you make people come in. The second thing is you're pulling the Otacon because of information that you have on the map, right? So Azir being top, what does that mean to you?
He's not going to be involved unless he has TP. And he does have TP here, but I don't know that. Like I'm not tracking his TP.
So yeah, the rule I said about any summoner spells, any Rs, whatever, unless your team gives you the information that they do not have this ability, or you see it yourself, you are assuming that they have TP.
Yep.
This will save you so much headache. And then the second part of this is, so if he has TP, he's able to like what's the word? Get himself into the fight. And then what about your little set? Do you know if he has TP?
Yeah, so I know for a fact that this guy has TP.
Okay.
Now this is like a retrospective, but like it'd be kind of nice if this set just batched Azir and just prevented him from TPing. I don't know, can you still do that? Like with if he just Rs the Azir or TPing or something like that? Yeah, okay. So that'd be kind of cool, but I mean I know that set has TP though. I know that for sure, but that's I wasn't really thinking too much about the Azir TP, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, so there's two things that could happen here. You're either spam pinging your set to get the fuck off of top wave because Otacon literally decides the entire game. I'm not even joking. Or you're just like spam pinging him to fight. And the reason why I want you to spam ping him to fight is literally what you just said. If he's running towards the Azir, can the Azir start TPing to the fight?
No, he can't.
Okay. And if set prevents the Azir from TPing to the fight, is it good for you guys? Is it better if your set TPs and then he TPs, or would you rather the set hold this guy down top lane?
The second one. I think that's way better.
Yes. Azir literally does so fucking much. Your set is just a useless champ. Anyways, so yeah, I would just spam ping to a fight for your set to fight top lane. And then the next part of this is the Kai'Sa. So both Azir and Kai'Sa are showing, but what does this say to you if Kai'Sa's on mid wave? Like how far in terms of time, okay? I want you to think about things in terms of time or in terms of waves. Okay. How long is it going to take for this Kai'Sa to come to the Otacon objective?
I'm just going to throw out like a random number because I actually don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
If she just walks, I would say about like 12 seconds. Yeah. And I feel like if she just E's and then like just ults as soon as like one of the CC comes in, which is going to happen, that's like 8 seconds or something like that. Because she only has to be like by the edge of like Dragon Pit to just literally fly in, right?
So we've just determined that the two people on the map that you pull this objective because are going to be able to join the fight at maximum like 12 seconds. So that is going to make me think immediately On top of the fact that this Kha'Zix is alive, we're pulling this and we're fighting, and we are only fighting. And then I'm going to play it forward. So the second the objective usually hits around like 5k is the crucial point where like you can no longer hit the objective if you are playing to fight, or you're just bursting it down and you're 50-50ing whether or not your Briar can outsmite the Kha'Zix. And in this situation, you should not try to outsmite the Kha'Zix. He will literally just 2k smite it with his Q and smite. Okay. So right now, you guys are hitting, you're hitting. And okay, so at best, how many people can be in this area in the river?
3.
Okay, so 3. There's one top and there's one bot. Mm-hmm. So if you were to pull a fight, which way would you want to go?
I want to go like towards bottom lane, or like pull the camp towards bottom lane so we have more space away from the.
Yes. No? Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Okay.
You need to pull this, drag them in further into the lane, closer here. But at the same time, you need to zone this guy off. If he's in range for either your Morgana Q or your Mel E, he will instantly die to use like CC chaining on top of whatever is happening. So in this situation, you guys are going to pull the objective, and then the second this guy gets in range of any of your CC, you are pulling off this objective and you are going straight to fight this guy. Okay? This guy matters so much because he's by himself. So I always want you, if you are pulling an objective and they're pinching you like this, right? Because right now you're getting pressured from both sides.
Yes.
And so this feels terrible. Like if you think about it, in 5 seconds, okay, you're going to feel absolutely horrendous because now you have to make a choice and you need to make it right the fuck now. So let's say the Malphite decides to R right here. You guys are fucked. But if he doesn't, okay, and this Morgana Q lands, you would much rather go to the person that's by themselves rather than whoever's coming towards you, because they'll never catch up to you unless like they have an ability the gap closes. So for example, like Kaisa is going to be able to R in if Malphite gets CC, and then she's like kind of an exception. Okay. So you're getting pinched, move towards the side that there's like the least amount of people. And another factor to consider is like whether or not they can just leave. Like if they have a dash. So let's say the Malphite saw that you guys were turning on him, and he decided to like ult out. You see how like turning down here will just give them a free Otacon now? Because all they have to do now is their team just comes here, takes over the Otacon. You guys have to walk this way. Otherwise, they're just going to kill you. And then the Otacon is going to drop to 2k HP and Kha'Zix is going to outsmite. So, so right here, what you guys have to do is hit the Malphite, no matter what. You need your reset. And I want you to like spam ping this, okay? And a lot of this VOD review has just been me like telling you like you need to ping your team. And the reason why is in League of Legends, do you have any way to like what is the only way you can communicate with your teammates?
Yeah, just pinging. That's
exactly. It. Yeah. Unless like people have their chat on, which sometimes honestly 50% of the time people just don't have chat on because they don't want to be toxic or they don't want to be flamed. Your only way to do that is by pinging. You have to use the only resource you have in the game to communicate. Otherwise, this is going to happen. And you see how like you killed the Malphite, right? But your Briar went forward while you guys went back. This cannot happen.
Yep.
You need to be on the same page, and pinging will solve that. And so right here, the second the Morgana Q lands, Mel E's, and then you should drop your Chompers a little bit later because you're stacking your CC a little, or you're layering your CC like incorrectly. This Briar is just gonna jump on him, kill him, and then you'll get a reset. And Briar should stand in front of you, tank the hook, and then you guys should walk forward and hit them, not the objective. No matter what, you do not let this objective get below 4k HP.
Okay.
And the next step is, hold on, I wrote a little too much. The other thing I wanted you to be very, very careful of is when you're pulling an objective, you need to make sure that you have vision surrounding the objective. So right now you had a word here, but this entire tribush was just an unknown to you for a solid like 20 seconds. So you're pulling this objective. Can they be in this tribush?
Yeah, they can for sure.
Okay, if they can be in the tribush, then this is a terrible Otacon. because the setup is wrong. They can just come in and you don't know if they're on this side, you don't know if they're on this side. Like anything can happen with the Kha'Zix and the Nautilus if they're playing smart.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens and you don't have the appropriate vision, all I want you to do is just like walk off, get off the objective, and then push the spot wave, and then get the setup again if your Morgana has wards, and then pull the objective. Okay, so until you have wards here and wards here, you're not pulling this.
Okay.
It's been a lot of me just telling you what to do, so I apologize for that. But
No, that's good. I mean, that's exactly what I want to learn, right? So
true. Yeah. So we got that off, and then okay, this is the last one. Where is it? Okay. So you gave me a timestamp that is like 30 seconds in the future of this timestamp. Why do you think why do you think I chose this timestamp instead of the one that's in 30 seconds?
Because like you had mentioned earlier, like in League, right? Like it's like everything is a consequence of everything before, right? So like the dragon setup that's about to happen, and like this dilemma I have between midwave and the dragon is a consequence of like this moment in time. Me not help pinging the guys and 3 guys in the bottom and help pinging mid lane, and then hitting like the clear minions or whatever, to try to communicate like, hey, let's clear mid wave together, and then we have vision, we have like the banana bush, like the sea brush like warded, so then we can walk down to dragon when it's time. But I don't do that. I think I'd like probably just sit here. And so then they just walk into dragon from bot side, I'm alone mid, and then we miraculously like, you know, win the fight, but it just like it wasn't very good. Yeah.
So okay, at this point you've made the mistake. You didn't ping that you wanted to be on this mid wave, and even if you did, your team would not be able to come because there's only 10 seconds before the objective. So let's say you've already made the mistake, but yeah, okay, so the right play is you just spam ping assistance on your mid wave, and then your team should come and like surround this next wave and then the one that's coming out of base. And then if that doesn't happen and you end up being in a situation where there's like 15 seconds before the objective and you and your mid laner are on opposite sides, like you and your team are on opposite sides of the lanes that are of the objective that's spawning. So you're on mid, they're on bot. There's only one thing and one thing only you can do. It's you clear these minions and then you walk safe way with your Morgana and then connect to bot and through bot. And what that'll do is that it'll put you guys on the same side so you can actually enter the fight, rather than right now, if you walk this way, you're dead, right? Well, not dead, but like you won't be able to contest the next mid wave because your entire team is bot.
Yeah.
So the solution is you have to make a compromise, which is walk with your team, ask your Morgana like assist ping to escort you, and then you're going to walk together all the way together here, and then you're going to fight like that. Okay?
Got it. Yes, makes sense.
Okay. Let me see. I wrote quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, I think another major rule for objective fights is, especially when you're playing a champion like Jinx, where she needs like somebody else to set up the enemy or like engage on the enemy or CC the enemy, I want you to like be linked to that person. And what I mean by that is like, if you and your Mel are on opposite screens, there's something wrong with the fight. Because you have to be holding the same line. If Mel gets engaged on, you need to be there to protect her. If you get engaged on, Mel needs to be there to protect you. And if that doesn't happen, then the 2 biggest carries in the team are just leaving themselves vulnerable for the enemy to come and kill.
Got it.
Okay. So do you have any questions you wanted to ask?
I guess like the one thing, and I understand that this is not like there's not like a single answer. It's just obviously very challenging because because I'm like very new to like playing AD carry, I often really struggle to like understand like back timings or like wave management or even like matchup dependent things like, oh, like level 1, like this is what I should be doing. Like when I was watching that like Sivir Yumi versus like Jinx I don't know, it was one of the other videos you published,
Mm-hmm.
and you were saying like, oh, you need to be standing like away from the wave so you don't get silver W'd, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to like do this and this. Like, I have no knowledge of any of those things. Obviously, for me, I think just I like learn better through like basically being told what to do as opposed to experience. Like if I experience it, I'm not able to like instantly draw the conclusion like, oh, like that happened, so like next time I'll do this. Like it's kind of hard for me to like make that connection a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, like what is like the best way to like gain that like knowledge? And like in your opinion, like is it just purely like just go on YouTube and just look up VODs, all the VODs you can find, and just like look at what they do and just try to like understand like what they're trying to do for matchup, or maybe like is that even necessary to try to like learn the role and get better at it, in the sense of like should I be thinking like of all those things, or should I just like focus on like super simple fundamental things and just like play the game and then you just naturally get better? I'm just trying to understand like from a big picture perspective.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm just thinking of a way to like explain this that isn't like, I'm not trying to reduce your question because I know you said
No, you're good.
No, it's just like it's kind of hard because for me the only way I learn these things is through experience, and the other one is you can find VODs on YouTube. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold on. This YouTube channel is like one of the main channels that I use for finding VODs of like ADCs that are way better than me. And what I do is if I'm in search of like a specific part of the game, okay, I try to find a VOD of like a champion that matches my like the champion that I'm trying to like learn about. And then I just hyper focus on every single thing that they're doing, and I try to find a reason why. And oftentimes, like just looking at what the ADC is doing in this wave and like trying to figure out why will oftentimes lead you to the right conclusion if you try to like scrutinize what the pro player is doing. The pro players almost always know better than you do. So even if it looks like they're inting, they're probably doing something correct. There's literally a VOD I saw of like Gumayushi just running straight into the enemy after his support died just to get the wave in and make it crash. To some people, it looks like he's inting, but if he hadn't done that, his wave would be stuck for the next 3 waves and he wouldn't be able to play the game. So you see how like even though something might look like int, you should assume that the pro player is doing the right thing. So that is gonna help you like kind of understand the thought process behind the lanes. And then the second thing is like I'm kind of good at copying exactly what certain players do just by like looking at what they're doing. So what I'm saying doesn't automatically apply to you, but just try to get in the habit of like looking at players that are better than you, like regularly. So whether that's like going on Twitch and like following, I don't know, like honestly, most of the ADCs on Twitch aren't that good, but like Kalist, that EU player is insanely good. Crowny is also really good. But there's like players like that where like if you just watch their videos, you're just naturally gonna like ingest like information that you otherwise would not get by just like watching like, let's say like an entertainment YouTube channel. Okay.
Got it. And does that also like apply to, because sometimes, you know, like I'm currently just trying to learn like one character and yet really understand the character, which is Jinx. But even if it's not Jinx and it's some other AD carry like character, is there still, do you think like a lot of value in like watching that? Or is it better to just like, well, if you're just going to one trick Jinx, then just find just Jinx VODs, and then just, if you can't find them, then just keep looking, kind of a situation? Well,
for ADC, it's kind of like weird because you can literally play like Jinx into like any of the ADCs. Whereas like if you're talking about support, if you have somebody who's a Tahm Kench main, it's kind of hard for you to like think about the fucking like Tahm Kench versus Soraka matchup, because that lane is like literally unplayable. And so looking at a VOD of you getting destroyed in a horrible matchup is not really going to help you that much. Whereas with ADC, there is playability on any single one of the lanes. So if you watch a Jinx VOD, that's amazing. You'll be able to recognize patterns a lot easier. But if it's not like a Jinx ADC VOD and you watch it and you're learning something from, let's say, Jhin, the next time you verse Jhin, and let's say Crowny says, Jin's biggest strength is him spamming Q on the wave, and that's how he gets prio. And then you think to yourself, Jinx's like major strength in lane is getting priority on the wave. So just using that information that I just said, and maybe I made it up, maybe I did it. Just thinking about that will tell you exactly what you need to do in the first few waves, which is if Jin Qs the wave and tries to contest prio, as Jinx, all you need to do is Q rocket the waves and contest them back.
Yeah, and I think that like leads to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just like making sure, confirming whether or not it made sense. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I think like one thing is like, again, this is very contextual and like complex, right? It's not like just use this rule and then you would manage a wave well every time. But there's like so many times when I'm playing the game where like the only thing I know on Jinx is like, oh, I can get level 2 prior easy because I have rockets, and then after that it's like I think a lot of the times I'm just like kind of clueless. I'm like, I don't really know like what I'm doing. I think this is the right thing. So I think like that's just another thing that I just have a complete blank spot in my understanding of the role and like laning. It's like I don't know like how the matchup is supposed to go. I don't know how the lane is supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with the wave. It's just literally like I'm here and I'm trying to get gold, and then if my support hits a CC, then I fight. And if they don't, then I just, you know what I mean? Like I'm just so clueless. Like, it's just, that feels bad. Like, to be honest, like that feels like weird. Like it feels like this shouldn't be how I'm supposed to be learning this role. But like, I mean, I don't really quite understand how. So that's all I know how to do.
Okay, so the really easy rule for waves is usually whenever you're crashing a wave. So crashing is just like the wave is gonna hit into their turret. Whenever you're crashing a wave, you have to make sure that you stacked at least 2 waves together for it to be a good wave crash. And the reason why is because if there are minions stacked together, it makes it so that the enemy has more time where they have to hit these minions and CS them, rather than if you just crash one wave. You see how like they have less minions to farm, and then your next wave that you crash is also going to be really small, so you're getting an even smaller timer to like hit them or hit the turret or get vision. So I always want you to think in like 2s. If you push this like the first wave and then you want to crash the second, that's amazing, because now you've gotten 2 waves and you're going to crash it into the turret. They need to farm it, and you can do whatever the fuck you want in the lane. You can hit the turret, you can poke them, you can ward. Right now you already have a ward, so I would recommend just hitting the turret. The only exception to this rule is it's not the only, actually. There's like 2 more, but other than 2 waves, usually do it when you can. So in this lane, you can 2 wave because you're double range champions and you have access to the wave. Sometimes, let's say you're like 0-4, okay? That does not look good. Anyways, 0-4-0. And you have a wave that's like over here, your Morgana's not with you, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to play in waves of 2, right? Unfortunately, you're not going to be strong enough, because let's say you stack this wave and then the wave's going to end up here. And then if you try to crash the wave and you're 0-4 and the enemy's really strong, they're just going to walk past the minions and kill you. So if they can do that, you cannot 2 wave. But if they cannot walk past the wave and kill you, you should be crashing in 2s. There's also 3 waves. It's really rare, but actually 4 waves are also fuck. Let's just say, okay, think about the waves of 2s, and then whenever you are super weak, you have to crash just 1 wave and like spam hit it once it hits your minions, and then make sure that hits the turret. Otherwise you won't be able to play the game, and that's going to be like a pretty solid wave understanding for you.
Okay, got it. And then in the situation, so like, and also doing the 2 wave crash, that's like hinged upon being able to like, you know, build up the first wave, and then, you know, like for example, like I know this is just a first and second wave, but like imagine if this was like level 3, level 4 or something, it was like this kind of picture. Because I see like the AD carry is not hitting this, I have the ability to push this wave now and like crash it in. I can like crash it into their tower, but that setup, like to be able to come to this point where I'm able to do this, that's totally reliant on like how strong I am, how strong my support is, like whether like they can kill me like in this position or not. Like there's like a lot of factors.
There's
that,
a
like,
lot of
allow me
factors.
to right. You get what I'm saying? Like there's no single like go here, and then now you can do the 2 crash. It's like in order to be able to arrive at this juncture, there's like a bunch of things that you can't sit here and tell me like all the ingredients to make that happen because they're just variable, right? But like in the point, it's like at some point if this happens, then I can, you know, in this situation right here, like I can crash this into the tower. But how I get here is dependent on like whether I take a good trade or like whether they are just misplaying and like not playing up at all or something.
Yeah.
Like it's based on a lot of factors, right?
Yeah. I'm just honestly like, unfortunately, even though I told you to 2-wave here, I'm just going to make it really clear. This is one of the exception situations because they're not showing on the wave. So, and okay, this is going to be the last thing because I also do have to go to my next meeting. But if they're not contesting the wave and they are not getting any XP at all, your job is to make sure they lose as many minions as possible. And the way you do that is by not hitting the wave and just last hitting the minions. Because think about it, right? If you're putting like 5 autos into the wave, their minions are going to die first. And so this wave's going to stack and there's going to be more minions for them to farm once they come back. Whereas if you put like 3 autos in the wave and you don't kill this minion, it drops to like this much HP and then you kill it, then there's like a smaller difference in HP in this wave. So let's say like 200 HP on this entire, that is not even close to the actual number of how much HP there is on this wave. Let's say like 200, right? And then they have 200. If you put in 3 autos, you're gonna drop it to like, let's reduce the amount of AD you have. Let's put it to like 25, okay? So you will have dealt 75 damage to the wave to kill it. Whereas if I told you to auto 5 times, this wave would go straight down to this much. And that means that these minions will have 75 HP and these minions will drop to like 150. So you see how this difference in HP is just going to push the wave in their favor when they're not even contesting the wave.
Yeah, and then that like it doesn't maximize the loss like of XP, right? Because they can just catch another tower. So you're saying like you want to burn the minions here as much as you can in this situation, so like they get as little XP as possible.
Well, not burn. Like you should last hit them, not hit them like before that.
Right.
Yeah. So like just make sure you're not like pushing it straight into them, because if you push it straight into them, then you're giving them the XP that they should have been denied. And in bot lane, denying EXP is like insane because you have to share EXP between two people. And talking about that honestly made me depressed. But